Ignore my messy background. Today we are reviewing Night at the Museum 2, The Battle of Smithsonian. Now, if you didn't catch last week, I said I'm reviewing every single Night at the Museum movie in lead up to the newest one coming out on Disney Plus on December 9th. Um, this one has always been my favorite of the trilogy from memory, and I think in this review that still remains true, but there are some issues with this movie that really challenge that opinion, and I think maybe a rewatch of 3 might change that, because the stuff I really love about this movie, I still really love about this movie, which, let's get out of the way with the stuff that I love about the entire trilogy, which is Ben Stiller as this main character really shines in this role. And it's a fun concept that remains true in this movie. And you enjoy all the fun cast members like Robin Williams, like Owen Wilson, and other characters like that. This though movie had is even goes even further with the concept, which basically they shipped our new characters to a different museum. So the biggest museum in the world is coming to life, and Larry Daly has to go in there and figure out what's going on and save his friends. And that's a great idea for this movie, the biggest museum in the world coming to life. And you really feel the grand scale of this museum and how large it is. Especially in that scene where I mean it's a spoiler, but this movie's been out for years. Where Owen Wilson's character Jedediah is put in the hourglass, and he's only given an hour, and to see him go from one location to the next, you really feel the grand scale of this museum and how large it is and how gigantic it is. And so that's fun. And you have a great villain that was very unfortunate how the entire trilogy revolves around uh Rami Malek's character. The third movie very much wraps up his character, but they never bring back the brother into it, and that's what I'm excited about with this fourth one, because he's a great character. Alan Tudyk, I think is the guy who plays him in this movie. I forget, but he does a great job as this character. He's really menacing, and that's my favorite part about this movie is the grand scale of this museum, how menacing this character is. My least favorite parts of this movie is Amy Adams plays Amelia Earhart in this movie, and my problem is this. You know how people complain that things are woke and just stupid, right? I usually don't go say that kind of garbage because it's all nonsense. It's all rhetoric made to make certain political talking points. I'm not here to get political. What I'm here to say is that if there ever was a character in a movie that would be woke, it'd be this character, but not for the reasons you think. She's a feminist character who's constantly talking about how everything's because she's a woman, but like I think the writers thought that was funny. And then there's also like a lot of the fact that you could tell that the feminist parts of this character were not actually written by a man who understands feminism, and if they did, they only understand the basic talking points and nothing else. And they wrote her to be very feministic and annoying because that's what they find feminists annoying. And then she's in love with Larry Daly in this movie, which is, again, you can tell that's written by a man, right? Because the only thing that they can do feel like doing with a strong female character is making her in love with a man. And the romance in this movie is dumb because they can't hook up. She's a piece of like wax or whatever she's made out of. But she's an object in a museum. There's no way these characters are gonna have a real romance outside this movie. So it's just annoying throughout this movie. She's making all these jokes and saying all these things about how she's a woman, and it's like she could have been a fun character in addition to these movies. I'm not against having that within these movies, but the way she's written is the biggest problem here. And you can tell it's because more than likely 90% of what she's given is written by a man who thought feminism was funny and didn't really understand it. So it was really dumb. The rest is, and that's why I think that this movie's dragged down, because she's in a large percentage of this movie. She is like all the other characters. They're not in this movie very much because the fact that she because she's in it more than they are, and he's trying to save them. So it leaves Larry Daly and Amelia Earhart to be the two characters together, and it leads to some of the worst jokes in the movie. So it's really dragged down by that. But other than that, I think it's fine. I think Bill Hader plays a fun general character that had some fun moments and had some fun humor there. I didn't love that character, but I definitely enjoyed his presence within the movie. And I didn't realize it was Bill Hader, even though I've seen this movie for many years. Um, but yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I think it's a great sequel and follow up. It has a great villain. It has a great scope and feel to it. My only problem is just the annoying Amelia Earhart character, and I don't even like hate that they decided to put that character in the movie. It's just the way they went about it that was really bad.